welcome back to From Heart to Heart. Today our episode will be about mitral stenosis. We'd like to welcome once again Dr. Moheb Ibrahim. Hello, doctor.
Hello, Mireille.
What is mitral stenosis?
Stenosis means narrowing, and mitral stenosis means narrowing of the mitral valve.
What is the mitral valve again?
The mitral valve is a valve that's located between the left receiving chamber, or the left atrium, and the left pumping chamber, that is the left ventricle.
Let's watch a video from the Visible Heart Downloads that will show you a real mitral valve. This valve doesn't have any narrowing in it.
And we would like to show you another video clip that depicts the echocardiogram of a patient that has mitral stenosis.
And that's like an ultrasound?
Echocardiogram is an ultrasound examination of the heart. And in this video, in addition to watching the mitral valve from two views, I'd like you to pay attention to the sound accompanying the video. This is basically what you hear when you put your stethoscope on the heart of the patient, on the chest of the patient, and that's how a mitral stenosis sounds like. From the spiritual point of view, mitral stenosis reminds me with a person who does not benefit from the Word of God and from the teachings of the Bible.
But why?
Because there is a problem here. It's like in the mitral stenosis patient, the left ventricle cannot get all the blood it should be getting because of the narrowing. This narrowing or this stenosis represents a person who does not want to understand and does not want to listen to the Word of God for a very simple reason, because he loves the sin.
So the person has no good intention of like improving his spiritual life?
No, because he finds in sin all the pleasures. He thinks that he finds all the pleasures he would like to have, and he thinks that going to the church, confessing or reading the Bible, he will find that verse that tells him not to do that. So he really doesn't want to, because he prefers the passing pleasures of the sin to being with God. He thinks that he'll be deprived of pleasure, and obviously this is a misconception, because it's the other way around. Being with God, you have all the freedom and the pleasure of being with God, while being in sin, you are really torturing your soul.
In the parable of the lost soils, I think this person represents the seeds on the wayside. And it says in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 13, verse 19, "When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is he who received seed by the wayside." Sometimes all you need is just a person that's always nagging you and telling you to change your bad habits, because once you actually stop running away from that person and turn around to listen to them, they might be right and make a difference in your life.
That's true. It is always a good example to look at the water drops, that if you leave the water drops come onto a rock for a long, long, long time, eventually these little drops of water will indent the rock. It will carve its path into the rock. So it's a very difficult situation, because the patient loves sin and he doesn't want to listen to anybody. So it is the responsibility of the church, of the servants, and of the good friends of this person.
The water it's like the person always telling you to change your habits, because it's
Exactly.
perseverant in the rock.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if the servants, if the church, if the good friends keep talking to him without giving up on him, I think eventually he might listen to them. As I said, it's a very difficult situation because the way that the seeds that fall on the wayside are taken away because we are not keen to keep them and we are not keen to protect them. And if the person is not keen to keep the word of God, it's very difficult to change this person. So somebody somehow have to pursue this person and tell him every time they meet or every now and then about the word of God and about the beauty of the life with God. And unless this person consents to changing the way he is living or she is living, it is very difficult to treat. And like, for example, the treatment of mitral stenosis is basically replacement of this tight valve and putting in a new valve. When it is very tight valve, there is nothing else that can help except putting in a new valve, taking the old valve out, or in a way taking it out and then replacing it with a new one. And unless the patient consents to having this kind of surgery, the surgeon cannot do anything. I cannot force a patient to have his surgery. So it will have to come from the person to decide, make a decision. I'm not going to continue with my sin again. I know it is difficult. I'll give you an example. Sometimes a person calls his father of confession, I would like to confess. Father of confession is away on a holiday. He says, well, that's really good, that's nice. I can enjoy sin for another week or two. This type of person is very difficult to really find its way. We have to pursue this person with perseverance and try to get the word of God to him. And the most important thing is keep praying for him, because prayers can change things.
Yes. So like you replace the bad valve with a healthy valve, you have to replace the love of sin with the love of God. So at one stage, it's the person's decision to change, not the people around him. It's just like Moses in Hebrews 11:35. He chose to suffer affliction better than to enjoy the passing pleasures of sin. So if you have a friend that needs help, just never give up on that person because they need you. So never give up on each other, and we'll see you next time on From Heart to Heart.